Oh my god, guys, Thor Love and Thunder was a movie and it happened! Okay, so Thor Love and Thunder review the non spoiler section. So, to not get spoilery, I thought the movie was not great, not bad. It was good. It wasn't great, but it was good. If you liked Thor Ragnarok, you will like this movie. 100%. It's, for the most part, very, very similar. Oh, there's cicadas outside. It's raining. How? This movie really plays into a lot of the things that made Thor Ragnarok work for both its betterment and its detriment. A lot of people I saw online were complaining about the over-reliance of humor. I half agree and half disagree. I thought it was definitely overdone a bit and took away from some scenes, but it was not a huge deal breaker to me at the end of the day. One thing that I was a really, really big fan of with this movie was its runtime. A lot of the previous Marvel movies, especially in Phase 4, have gone on way too long, like Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Eternals, hell even in Black Widow was at least 2 hours. This ran at a solid roughly hour and a half, and I really, really liked the reduced runtime. It's very refreshing. And it was a really standard Marvel affair. I mean, like, the action was good, the cinematography was good, it looked good, the music was good, all of that's accounted for. Some of the actors in this movie were great. Christian Bale and Natalie Portman were specific standouts to me. I thought they did a great job in their roles. If you aren't a big fan of the more jokey side of Marvel, or just suffering from the sheer Marvel fatigue that everyone has been feeling, I don't think you're going to be a very big fan of this movie, which is a lot of the complaints that I have heard. But if you like, the more funny, jokey side, you liked Ragnarok, or just like watching Thor kick some ass, I think there's definitely some things here for you, and I think you're gonna like it. We stan a gay rock man. For real though, as a very, very vocal member of the LGBTQ community, seeing Marvel actually have some representation after the large amounts of queer baiting and shows like Falcon Winter Soldier and Hawkeye, seeing actual unapologetic representation with Korg and Valkyrie is such a nice change of pace. Speaking of which, Valkyrie, I really enjoyed getting to see her actually do stuff in this movie until they didn't let her. I don't really know why they just chose to sideline her for some reason by the end of the movie. Was not a very big fan of that. In fact, the entire last battle of this movie is really weird to me, I guess. I don't know. Thor rallying up the kids, while charming, is kind of a weird decision to do. However, the emotional moments shared between Thor and Jane by the last act I thought was really well done and a really interesting dynamic. I thought pretty much everyone here, at least from an acting standpoint, was pretty good. Natalie Portman, Christian Bale, Chris Hemsworth. There was not really anyone, especially in the main cast, who stood out as exceptionally bad at all. I thought everyone did what they were doing pretty well. The action in this movie was, I think, the strongest point overall. Whether it was Thor's opening fight on that planet, while a bit silly, was a really cool moment, and the fight on that moon planet where there's no color was a really, really cool set piece, from start to finish. I liked the washed aesthetic of it, just the 3v1 fight showing off how strong and smart Gore is was really, really well done. Although there were some weird choices made throughout this film, like Gore himself choosing to kidnap children as his game plan. I mean, it wasn't awful or anything, it's just, again, a weird choice to do some things like that. One of them that really stands out to me was Jane Foster's whole, cancer storyline. Going into this movie, I really, really thought that they were going to kill off Thor, and I wasn't entirely wrong. With the inclusions of these new versions of the old heroes, like Sam Wilson being the new Captain America, She-Hulk, Kate Bishop, Yelena, etc., I was really expecting this to be a write-off for Chris Hemsworth's Thor, and to have Mighty Thor be our new Thor going in. That did not happen, as, well, Jane's gone, she's in Valhalla, and she's passed away. And what a great send-off for the character, who was otherwise really unremarkable. She was in Thor 1, was okay, was in Thor 2, wasn't very good, and was in Endgame for all of 10 seconds. That was the character's legacy going into this. However, this time, it was an absolute flip of the script, and she was arguably maybe the best character. One big inconsistency with this is tone and like overall tone whiplash, which is something that I can definitely see being a problem. There's a lot of times where the movie really wants to take itself seriously, especially with Jane Foster's storyline, and other times where it's like, oh, Jane Foster's dying character. Anyway, haha, funny goats. They're screaming. Remember the funny goat meme, guys? And it's like, yeah, it's from 2013. Why are we doing this now? Having Zeus and the big god brigade come in felt honestly just ham-fisted in there to get the Hercules thing going, which, I mean, okay, I guess that'll be fun, but I don't know, it just felt mildly unnatural being fit in here. Was all that scene, other than just getting the MacGuffin that is the lightning bolt weapon, is very skippable, to be honest. However, I'm really glad that they didn't kill him when that whole scene happened and played out and Thor kind of stabbed through him. I thought they just killed the character off immediately and it was going to be a one-off, which is something they did literally the last movie for this in Ragnarok, so I'm glad they didn't do that again. One thing I'm really disappointed about, honestly, is the Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm a very big fan of them and I was expecting to get to see them a lot more in this, especially considering how prominent they are in the trailers, but what we saw in the trailers is basically the whole presence of the movie. After the first 10 minutes, they're gone. We don't hear or see them at all, which is really weird because if Thor is raising an army, you'd think he would have his army that he was with not like an hour ago. I enjoyed seeing Gore sort of ending and Thor being an actual dad having his daughter is, I think, a really cool like next step for the character, and I'm really excited to see where him and the rest of the Asgardians go. I did not write this video with a script at all, so that's pretty much all I have until I inevitably remember something after I already uploaded this. That being said, this movie isn't perfect by any means, but I think that the glaring negatives, while are very present and worth talking about, don't ruin the movie, and I think it's definitely one of the better movies, especially in this phase of Marvel. So if you enjoyed me doing this review content for movies, please let me know. It's something that I wanted to try out, and I want to see how you think of it.